If you were to tell me a few months ago that a small, independently produced film would overtake Mission Impossible 7, I would have laughed in your face. The mainstream media has done nothing but bash the film's actors, producers, and studio without actually addressing what their problem was with the movie in the first place. But what exactly is the issue with Sound of Freedom? Why is the mainstream media so afraid of this movie? Join me, dear viewer, as I dive deep into the controversy that is Sound of Freedom. While we know that movies lately have been, well, for a lack of a better word, complete shit over the last decade, I've mentioned in many of my prior videos that I do see a glimmer of hope on the horizon. I just had no idea that that hope would come from a Christian-leaning studio such as Angel Studios, which released a movie that is causing all sorts of controversy. First and foremost, the mainstream media has a major malfunction with this movie. News outlets have bashed and smeared the film's protagonist, Jim Caviezel, who played real-world counter-terrorist Tim Ballard. The media has dug up some old comments he made regarding children being abducted for nefarious medical experimentation. I guess the media never heard of organ harvesting in the third world. You know, I hear a kidney goes for about 50 grand on the black market. So this sort of stuff does happen. As the film states succinctly, this is a topic that's not for polite conversation, but rarely are dangerous ideas good for cocktail parties. Rather than attack the concepts exposed in the film, the media has chosen to hyper-focus on some random comment Jim Caviezel made years ago. You know who does that? Ignorant and stupid people. When you can't provide evidence to back up your argument, you start attacking the subject rather than the idea, what's known as ad hominem attacks. But why exactly is the media attacking and censoring this film so much? I guess it's important to take a step back and discuss what the film is about first. Sound of Freedom is a film exposing a major problem in the world today, modern-day slavery. But not just any old regular slaves. Oh no, child slaves sold into prostitution. It's truly horrific, and the film is right. It's not a topic for polite conversation at dinner parties. But that's exactly why this film needs to be seen. You can't just stick your head in the sand and hope the problem goes away. The film stars Jim Caviezel as real-life Department of Homeland Security Special Agent Tim Ballard on his quest to take down vicious child predators. The film begins with the abduction of 2 children in Honduras, under the guise of getting a modeling and TV acting job for the children. Following this, in the opening credits, we see actual, real-world footage of various child kidnappings. The film continues to hit when we are shown the takedown of a pedophile hosting a website full of children's pictures. In interviews, the real Tim Ballard has mentioned that he's had to watch these horrific videos and write reports about them in great detail, which actually caused him to develop PTSD, for which he's had to seek therapy for many years. Ballard uncovers a massive child kidnapping network. He manages to rescue the little boy from the beginning of the film, who begs Ballard to rescue his sister. So, he convinces his superiors to let him track down the kidnapping ring starting in Colombia. But as funds dry up and Ballard hits a bump in the road, his superiors pull the plug on the entire operation, forcing Ballard to go it alone. With the support of his wife, Ballard continues on his mission to set up a sting operation to capture the traffickers. Once on the island, where the sting operation takes place, Ballard manages to rescue over 50 kids from slavery, but the little boy's sister was unfortunately not among them. Through interrogation, he uncovers that the little girl was purchased by a Colombian rebel and local drug lord, so Ballard goes undercover to rescue her. Obviously, the film takes some artistic liberties, as Ballard didn't actually go into Colombian rebel territory in real life. But this sequence within the jungle did showcase another major problem: cocaine production and the use of day laborers to produce the illicit drug under less than stellar environmental conditions and results. Obviously, the film does fictionalize certain events, but during the closing credits, the actual, real-world footage of the island raid was shown. You do see the real children that were rescued. So this is a real problem. There are now more slaves on Earth than at any other point in history, including the Roman Empire and the antebellum American South. While there may be fewer slaves per capita due to the meteoric rise in population, the absolute number of slaves is much higher than it ever was in the past, which is a bitter pill to swallow. I was really struggling to see why the mainstream media was so forcefully censoring and blocking this film. What exactly are they afraid of? I have a little theory I'd like to share with you. With the emergence of news about this horrific predator and monster which YouTube loves to censor, we saw the first hint of how pervasive the problem truly is. The Netflix documentary on him was very harrowing. It's clear that elites at all levels of government, business, and entertainment are involved in this. And if they would go so far as to murder him in prison and make it look self-inflicted, censorship of this movie is small potatoes to them. The production of this film was quite complicated. The film was actually completed in 2018 and was set for release by 20th Century Fox, but then Disney came in and bought Fox and shelved the movie. So the film's producers had to self-fund trying to buy back the film from Disney, which they were successful in doing. All told, the film's production cost ended up being just shy of $15 million, a pittance in modern Hollywood. Angel Studios needed to rely strictly on word of mouth and positive individual opinions in order to propel this movie forward. Counterintuitively, all the blocking, attacking, and censorship only amplified the film's popularity, and it sailed past $100 million at the domestic box office, while preventing Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning from breaking any box office records of its own, something entirely unexpected. It looks like Disney loves to lose money, and this situation is no different. Disney could have taken a stand and led the charge to protect children. After all, it is a children's entertainment company. But the fact that they tried to block this movie from release speaks volumes. Disney has built its empire on the backs of child actors and yet refuses to protect any of them. Perhaps the real reason Disney is so afraid of this movie is that it might reveal that they are complicit in the problem. Maybe they are involved in the trafficking somehow. I'm not saying they're trafficking children. I'm merely asking why they seem so intent in censoring this film. As it stands now, the film has surpassed 100 million at the domestic box office. So by any measure, it has been a great success. With no advertising and only word-of-mouth recommendations, this film managed to be a box office hit. There's something to be said for that. If that seems to be the case, maybe you, dear viewer, should begin to question the status quo and see what all the fuss is about. I've now seen this film twice and can wholeheartedly recommend everyone watch it. Everyone must learn that children are not for sale. But what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that Hollywood elites have more nefarious intentions? Do you think they're hiding something? Please do let me know down below in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button and smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.